there, welcome back. So I hope you enjoyed learning about those ancient Roman inventions. Pretty interesting, right? That they invented those things so long ago and we still are using many of them today. So pretty amazing to see the effects of ancient Rome on our society today. So maybe you were impressed by that Pantheon, maybe you've started building one yourself, maybe you're not convinced. Maybe you want to see some more buildings and you want to learn about a different type of building to build. That dome would be kind of hard out of cardboard, right? So we've got two more structures that we're going to discuss in today's video, and I also have another video for you to watch to learn some more information about them. So the first one is the Roman bath. Believe it or not, ancient Romans, they invented the bath, but not like a bathtub like what you have in your house kind of bath. No, these were far more different, far more elaborate. So the Roman baths were public bathhouses. People would go from all over the city, all different kinds of people, and they would have separate little pools where they would go in and take a bath. But they weren't just for bathing. They were also gymnasiums. They had shops, places to eat, gardens to stroll in, massage rooms to get massages. I mean, this sounds pretty amazing, right? Where's our Roman bath? So everybody from town could get in for a small fee and enjoy the amenities of the Roman bath. These were places of public gatherings where people would come and they would spend hours of the day at the Roman bath. Politics would be discussed there amongst different politicians. Business would be done. This was really much, much more than just a place to go get clean. It was really a place to go and enjoy the culture and also participate with your other members of society and engage with them, discuss with them. Lots of things happening at the Roman baths. So you might be wondering, well, where did they get all the water? How did they build these pools? They used aqueducts. So this was a very elaborate system of piping where they would bring water into the city. Let's take a look here. In our book on page 392, you can see some examples of an aqueduct. Let's read what it says. The Romans built sturdy buildings using clever techniques. Some of their buildings still stand, including the Pantheon, which we discussed yesterday, and many aqueducts. So many of these are still standing today. These and other examples of Roman architecture influence modern building styles. This makes architecture an important part of Rome's legacy. That's why we're doing the Rome Building Project. So here you see a picture of an aqueduct. You can see these arches here, and the arches are different sizes. As they get up higher, you have the smaller arches. And here you can see an example of how an aqueduct would be used kind of over a large scale area of land. So what the Romans would do, they have their city here in Rome, they have their place where they live, the place where they do business, the place where the Roman baths are, and there's not a source of water nearby. There's no river, there's no lake, there's no streams, so they would bring the water into them. They had this reservoir of water, maybe a lake somewhere nearby, a river. These were over thousands of areas, so these covered large amount of territory throughout the surrounding area of ancient Italy. They would dig these tunnels and build these aqueduct bridges. And what you notice in this picture, which you might not see so much in this one up close, is that there is a gradual decline. So that water would flow downstream into the city. They had very sophisticated piping systems where the water would then come in to fill the baths, and each night the baths would be drained. So every day it was a fresh pool of water, like a natural hot spring, where they would go and they would be able to bathe and enjoy that fresh water. So these aqueducts covered thousands of miles, as I mentioned, and we see that both the aqueducts and the baths, they started being built in about the 2nd century BC. So thousands of years ago, over 2,000 years ago. This is before the time change up to the AD. Remember, we talked about BC is before Christ. About 200 years before Christ, we have these aqueducts being built. And then also into the AD time period as well. So we don't know exactly when each one was built, but we do know that they were built as far as out as the 1st and 2nd century BC. So they were made of concrete. They used the arches to allow for them to cover long distances, and many of them are still standing today. So the water flowing into those ancient Roman baths would flood that cultural center. People would come and gather and do business and spend hours of the day there at those ancient Roman baths. So if you want to see more information, maybe you want to build an aqueduct, maybe you want to build a Roman bath, you can look in your book on page 392, 393. Also, watch the video called Roman Baths. That gives you quite a bit more information about those Roman baths and how they were used in ancient Rome. So really interesting, right? I mean, sounds like a great place to go and visit and just hang out. I love they have the gardens, they've got places to eat, they've got libraries, books to read. You can see why people would have spent hours of their day there. All right, enjoy, happy learning, and we'll see you back tomorrow.